told me exhaustion, overthinking, and staying busy were all symptoms of the same thing. Today we're having another conversation from survival to stability. When did I realize I wasn't just struggling, I was surviving? For me personally, it started with losing my job. That was my rock bottom. I let that very moment define me way longer than I should have. What made it worse was getting denied unemployment and having to fight for 11 months with a lawyer just to get the money I was owed. And yes, I won, but winning still cost me in ways that I'm still working through today. And I'm sharing that because this channel documents a real journey. I'm not on the other side looking back. I'm in it with you, and I want to walk you through 5 questions that I wish someone had asked me sooner. Let's begin with the hardest one. The exact same day that I lost my job, by the time I got home, I got a call stating I was off the wait list for therapy. I had been waiting for weeks for evening availability to open up, so I took this as a sign that something greater was working in my favor, even on the worst day of my life. So fast forward 11 months, when the unemployment money finally came in, I did what survival mode trained me to do. I focused on immediate needs, like things the house needed, catching up on car maintenance, and just things I had to let go. On the outside, of course it looks like I'm being responsible, but on the inside, I was just trying to stop the bleeding. What I didn't notice is that I never really stopped to feel any of it. I stayed busy. I handled responsibilities. I was outside with family. I was being present for my daughter, and underneath it all, I was depressed. And the crazy thing is I didn't even know it until I was coming out of it, because depression does not always look like lying in bed all day. Sometimes it looks like being outside every weekend, eating good, drinking good, having fun with the people you love, and slowly losing yourself anyway. I stopped working out, I stopped reading my Bible, and I let go of every habit that was keeping me grounded after I lost my job. And the part that gets me is that I knew what I was supposed to be doing, but I just couldn't do it. And that's what depression does. It's like, you know exactly what you need to do, and your body just won't let you start. So the takeaway from that is survival mode keeps you in motion so that you never have to process what's actually happening. And the busyness feels like coping, but it's actually avoidance. So here's what I want you to do. Grab your phone or a piece of paper, and I mean right now. Write down 3 emotions that you have been pushing through without actually feeling them. And be sure to read them out loud. That is your first step out. I spent every single day in stress, applying to jobs, getting ghosted by recruiters, and just wrecking my mind trying to figure out how was I going to turn this around. And I'm not typically a crier. I get sad, on sad parts of movies or shows, sure. But I was in tears every single day, and that was just not me. I was doing everything I could do. Literally, I reached out to recruiters that I had a good rapport with. I adjusted my job search around my daughter's school schedule. In order to apply to earlier shifts, I asked my mom if she would be able to help me out. From the time I was fired in August of 2024 till today, which is July of 2026, I had maybe 4 real conversations with recruiters. Everything else was a rejection. Like 4 is crazy in almost 2 years. And I was doing everything right on paper. And at some point I had to separate what I could actually change from what I was wasting my energy fighting. The job market, timelines, and other people's decisions. None of that was mine to control, but what I could control was showing up anyway. Working out, making content, reading, and rebuilding my mindset while my circumstances stayed the same. I had to also start writing down my wins because I was hitting goals the entire time. They unfortunately just felt too small from where I felt I needed to be. But gratitude and frustration can exist at the exact same time, and that's just real. The takeaway here is that your nervous system will stay activated, even if it's fighting things you can't move or change. So redirecting that energy to things you can actually touch, that is where the exit starts. I want you to draw a line down a sheet of paper. The left side will be everything outside of your control. The right side will be everything inside of your control. Spend about 60 seconds on each side, and when you're done, fold the left side over and only read off everything on the right. When I let my mind get quiet enough to actually visualize the future, I see a woman who's built something. I picture being able to give grants to women who are right in the position I am today. People who just lost jobs, have eviction notices, or just need a little breathing room. A one-time payment, a gift card. I see myself mentoring, coaching, learning, and investing in my own knowledge so I can pour into people over time. And the deeper I got into depression, that woman felt so far away. The more I let go of my routines, the farther away she felt. But what I know now is you can always find your way back to her. And it takes real work to come out of depression, especially when you don't even recognize it initially as depression. And the first step is being willing to picture future you again. You cannot move towards something that you refuse to picture. Visualization gives your brain a destination to start moving forward. And sometimes this is hard to do because we've gone through so much that we just have so much negative in our heads, but you have to keep trying. So here's what I want you to do. Write 3 sentences, just 3, describing your stable self. Where does she live? How does she feel? What does her mornings look like? Put it somewhere that you'll see it every day, like in your bathroom, right on the mirror, for instance. The first real action I took was starting therapy. I had lost 2 very important people in my life, and of course, I felt I had to deal with that. Losing my job on top of that broke something in me. And therapy gave me a space to actually process instead of just pushing through like I normally do. And from there, I started feeding my mind differently. I found creators on YouTube who have built businesses and gave a crazy amount of value each video. People like Myron Golden, for example. I watched, I learned, I took notes, and I implemented. I also made a crazy decision to go against my fear and start creating content. And that, my friends, is how I ended up here. I also began to build a relationship with God. And I'm not super religious. I consider myself more spiritual than anything. But I bought my very first Bible at the end of 2024 as like a Christmas gift to myself. And of course, I started reading it daily. I can't explain it, but small things started to shift after that. Just tiny little miracles. And faith quickly became my anchor when everything else felt unstable. Survival mode will literally have you thinking that small wins don't count. And the crazy part is the small actions are the only way back. Because they would tell your brain that, hey, I'm doing something right. And so it rebuilds the evidence that you can still accomplish things. So let's go back to that list we just talked about. Pick one thing on the items you can control list and do one thing today. At best, my days had structure. Drop my daughter off to school, come home, give myself about 15 minutes to doom scroll. I know I shouldn't, but I did. Get up, do my workout. I recorded my workouts. I journaled, and I read my Bible. And because I was on a weight loss journey, I also decided to start studying personal training because when I commit to doing something, I want to know everything there is about it. I started with about 4 workouts a week, and then I adjusted to 3 because it just felt more realistic to me. I lost my first 8 pounds just by cutting sugary drinks, drinking water with every meal, and having 3 meals a day. Then in February of 2025, I decided to dedicate 30 days to tracking my meals. And with that, I saw a total drop of 25 pounds within 4 months. Because I have fibromyalgia, which is chronic widespread pain, I had to do low impact workouts. I try to work with my body, not against it. I'm not as structured right now as I was then, but I'm proud of myself that I got that far, and I know I can build it back again. Consistency does not look like being a robot every single day. And most people you see being consistent, they built that up over time. So be sure to give yourself grace to build. Because at the end of the day, consistency does not require perfect conditions. I mean, none of us truly have that. It requires making a decision way before motivation even shows up. So here's the final action step I want you to take. Jot down one thing you would do every single day this week and put it in your phone as a daily alarm so you'll see it every single morning. If you're in survival mode right now, you do not have to stay there. And if you're ready for a step-by-step plan that helped me, my ebook will be linked in the comments. And if you're just here for the journey, make sure you subscribe because next week we're going to be covering 7 habits I thought were completely normal that were actually keeping me stuck.